You're listening to Life with Mary Walter. Life with Mary
Walter.
Hey, perfect timing there. Oh, perfect. Hi, welcome to Life with Mary Walter. I'm Mary Walter. How you doing tonight? James will be here. He said I'm going to be sliding in, cutting it close, but he said he won't make it. So he will be here. Got a lot to talk about. Hope everyone's having a fantastic, early start to your week. Hope you had a great weekend. So much to talk about. We have some fun things to talk about on the show. If you are new to the show, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate that. You can go to YouTube and watch old episodes of the show, of this podcast, as well as the Mary Walter Radio podcast, which is Thursdays, also at 7:15 Eastern. Of course, live on YouTube and on Getter. And the audio for both is always on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I try to get them up about within an hour or two after the podcast. If I've got my act together, they usually get up about that time. So I try to do that. So we'll wait for James. In the meantime, some people who are checking in super early, if you are a regular, that there seems to be a race to see who can get here first. And by the way, has anybody heard from Al? I sent him a message on Truth Social. He got booted for life off of Twitter. I have no idea to this day what he did. And then he was really active on Truth Social. And I noticed he had missed the last couple of podcasts, and he's usually always here, usually one of the first ones in. And he has not posted anything on Truth Social lately. And I sent him a message. I didn't hear anything from him. And he had said he was moving to Florida. I think that's what he said. So I have no idea. So if anybody's heard from him, please let me know in the comments. If you are on Getter, your comments do not come up on the screen. They don't cross over, but I will read them. And if you're on YouTube, if you put comments up, I can put them right up on the screen here and then read them for people who are just listening to the audio. So Ron was in at 6:55 saying, big news, because I did tease that we'd had some big news. And then at 7:03, he's like, wait, still just me? Nobody else is here? Bill chimes in at 7:04. Sherry's here. Sherry's getting in on the early game, 7:11. And Jerry is in at 7:12 and says, damn, I'm not even close. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining me. So just one announcement. This is not the big announcement. But on Thursday for Mary Walter Radio, I'm actually going to be at a political event Thursday evening. So I will not be here, but James, if he shows up, I don't know, with his work schedule, it's super hard, as you can see, because he's not here yet. But he will be hosting the show on Thursday. And as of now, fingers crossed it works out, he'll have a guest from the Fair Tax, this group that's really big on the fair tax. They've been bugging me on Twitter. And so I'm like, okay. So I'll get you guys on. So he's going to be on with them on Thursday. They'll be joining him. And that should be a really good discussion. The fair tax, and I know there's the flat tax, and trying to revamp the tax system. We have the most progressive tax system in the world. And people are like, oh, rich people don't pay enough. Yeah, I got news for you. In this country, they pay more than a lot of other countries, and it's the most progressive one in the world. And we've got a lot of people who don't pay anything at all. So they want to solve that problem. I just don't know if this solves that problem, because they want to do just in a quick little primer on it. They want to do a national sales tax, a VAT, like they have in Europe. The problem I see with that, it's great. Everybody pays the same percent, right? Everybody pays the same. So whatever you're buying, there is I think they said they could do 1%. You could do 1% and still recoup, make the money, give the money to the government that they're currently making. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they claim. I always thought it would have to be higher. The great thing about it is that when you raise the tax, right, and you get rid of the other taxes, you get rid of income tax, all that stuff, you get rid of that. You can still have state taxes, but you get rid of income tax at a federal level. So when they raise the tax, everybody knows about it. So I think that that's good, because more people will be aware, because more people have skin in the game. But the problem I see with it, it's going to be approximately 6 seconds before the Democrats are screaming about it's not fair and rich people should pay their fair share. And it's hard, 1% of a rich person's salary versus 1% of a poor person's salary, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to be screaming. And then all of a sudden we have an income tax back again. So now we got an income tax and we have this national thing on top of it, in addition to all the other taxes we have. So I don't think it works out 100% of the way. So there's that. All right. I have no idea where Sir James is. We'll get to the announcement when he gets here. And if he doesn't get here, I'm going to do it without him. So there. And he's part of the reason for the announcement, although not really. Kind of. It just works for him, but kind of not really. All right. This is super interesting. I found a story about what's going on in China. So, China had the one-child policy. And so for the longest, they kept killing their baby girls because you could only have one child. So the parents would drown the baby or do whatever they could do to get rid of a baby girl, because they all wanted boys, because boys are more valuable, because boys carry the family name and boys are the ones who are going to, carry on the legacy and all that other macho crap, right? Well, the Chinese Communist Party commissars in Jinan City in Shandong province are they're pulling all the information about all of the residents. It's about 650,000 residents that are under their control into one state-controlled singles dating app. So a government-run dating app, and they take all the info that they have on you, which is everything, and they are putting it into this dating app. And it's their response because Chairman Xi Jinping, President of China, ordered a turnaround of the nation's collapsing marriage and birth rates. Now, there was collapsing marriage and birth rates because there were so many men and not enough women that the women got to be super duper picky about it. And they no longer have a one-child policy. That's one thing that they did. They don't have a one-child policy anymore, thinking that that would boost the birth rates. And that has apparently not happened as of right now. So they're trying to turn this around. So they're creating this dating app that's going to be government run. What could possibly go wrong? Sherry has a public service announcement. Has nothing to do with this. Don't trust any text messages saying there's fraud on your accounts. Only call your bank reps directly, not the number in the text message, and check your own account. It's a huge scam. Oh, and then she goes on to say it's a huge scam right now. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that, Sherry. Thank you. Yeah, I never. It's amazing what people will call you with as far as scams go. So, all right, back to China. Collapsing marriage, collapsing birth rates. So what they're doing is they're building comprehensive profiles about eligible young men and women, including their personalities, their habits, which they know what your habits are because they know everything about you, because they track you everywhere you go, and you have a social score, so they know everything about you, your preferences, your behaviors, and your affiliations. And they boil those down to a score. They put them through AI, and then they organize a blind date for you with what the government says is your ideal match. Now, if you're single, would you do this? I mean, I don't know. I look at some of these shows where like Married at First Sight, and sometimes they got a 50-50 batting average. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of times it's the people involved just are not ready to get married, or they're super poor communicators. But I don't know if I could do that. Just like I don't think I would have let my parents choose someone for me. Yeah, they know that, your parents, when you come down to it, really do know you better than probably most people know you. But I don't know. Although my parents probably would have chosen the guy that I married anyway. Family, friends, go way back, the whole bit. Jerry knows, Shore Essential knows, way back when, just like I go way back with him to grade school. But it's, I don't know if you want the government doing that. Think about that. And then you have to go out on a blind date with the person that the government selects for you, because you're in China. You don't have a choice. All right. So here's what in China, there were 7.6 million first-time marriages in 2021. That's 500,000 fewer than the year before and 5 million less than 2013. So they have a problem. They need more workers, they need more people, so they need more babies because they're not big on immigration. And not a lot of people want to immigrate to China, not a lot of people trying to break in. You don't see people, landing boats on the shores in China saying, woohoo, finally. That's not happening. They abandoned the one-child policy in 2016. Now, since they've done that, national birth rates have plummeted, and only 6.8 children were born for every 1,000 people in 2022. It's kind of like the US. We have a problem with birth rate as well, but we have so many people walking across the border. That's not a problem for us. Jerry, your parents may know you, but if you're a Chinese citizen, do they know you better than the Chinese government? That's a great point. But the Chinese government knows you statistically. It doesn't take into, I think, other things that are necessary. Like on paper, you could be a really, really good match. But like if that person's a bad communicator or you're not attracted to that person, but there's a lot of countries that have set up marriages. India does it. I'm watching Love It. I'm watching 90 Day Fiance the other way right now. And Rishi's in India and his parents keep trying to set him up, but he's already engaged to an American, just hasn't told his parents yet. So they don't, it may look good on paper, but that doesn't mean it's a good match, right? Sherry, it's like their government is setting up like-minded, brainwashed with propaganda partners. Yeah, exactly. Because they're like-minded. They know their preferences. They know everything about them. And look who's here. Here he is. Hello.
Hi.
Chocolate milk?
Iced coffee. Close.
Iced. I have the heater on. I'm freezing.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you know me.
I could have made a fire today. I'm cold. I just didn't get around to it. I had a very busy day. Here, Sherry says, I am addicted to 90 Day Fiance. Yes. So I'm watching 90 Day Fiance the other way, which is why I know about the setup marriages in India. And Rishi is afraid to tell his family. So he had to contact the family astrologer to find out the best day to tell his family, even though he has been, quote unquote, dating Jenny from far away. I think her name is Jenny. I think that's her name, for 3 years. And he gave her a ring and they got engaged. Last time she was there to visit, he kept her in an apartment while he lived with his family and he proposed to her. So we're talking, James, to catch you up on China because they have a birth rate that's really, I don't know if you heard us, a birth rate that's low. And they have and they have a marriage rate that's low. So they're trying to get more party members and more workers. So the government now is taking everything that they know about people, like in a province, and feeding it into AI. And then you get a notice from the government that they have set up a blind date for you, and you have to go on this blind date with somebody. He's frozen. James is frozen. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, it's going to be one of these days for James. Poor guy, here late. Now this is happening. So he's frozen. So, all right, there's that.
Wow, that's for.
Yeah, sweetie, you're frozen. You might want to log out and come back.
It
okay?
might be what.
Yeah, you're frozen again.
Right.
I'm gonna take him off of here. I'm gonna take you out of there for now, and you can leave and come back. Okay. They also want the role of women within Chinese society revisited. The idea of the People's Revolution was for gender equality in all things, but now they want to bring back elements of traditional Confucian philosophy. In 2013, one of the president's first speeches as a national leader, he proclaimed it was crucial for women to be good wives and mothers to ensure the healthy growth of the next generation. The updated Women's Rights and Interests Protection Law in China formally demands that women should respect and obey national laws, respect social morals, professional ethics, and family values. And now they're saying that Chinese society must give full play to the unique role of women in promoting the family virtues of the Chinese nation. They have a call now to pass on the red gene from generation to generation. So now they're saying that young women who are focused on their studies and their careers are now officially out of step with what the Communist Party wants, what the Communist Party policy is. So they say that Chinese people are kind of used to this, though, because parents, village elders, and business leaders would regularly get together to identify suitable pairings in a village, which is kind of like, the whole fiddle around the roof thing. They kind of did that there too. So they say young men and women, though, have become used to finding partners that suit their tastes, needs, and styles. When women have chosen career or have had children, the Ministry of Education now considers women who aren't married. They call them leftover women now. That's what they're called now. And they are teaching in schools now that not marrying is self-serving and oblivious to family morality and imperatives of national development. That's because these women are quote unquote leftovers because they had the one child policy for so long. They have a ton of dudes. They have a ton of guys.
Yeah,
that's
I am back. And that's been a disaster for China. They overestimated their population. They're very short of young people in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's see. Most of those men that were at the bulk of the guys who are of dating and marrying age now, it's mostly men. And the women know they have their pick of the crop. They could pick what they want, and a lot of them are choosing their career over getting married. So they're trying to force these women to get married. There is a dating app that's not run by the government that Beijing is turning a blind eye to. Last year there were 275 different online dating services. In 2017 there were 81, but they say it may soon come to an end because the Supreme People's Procuratorate has declared social media and dating websites a hotbed for the infiltration of foreign hostile forces. And they said that students and lonely singles are becoming the prey of foreign criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2017, one branch of their Communist Party issued and then retracted a blind date guidebook for the Communist Party members. Oh my gosh, could you imagine if we could get our hands on that? How much fun that would be?
I want it real bad.
That would be phenomenal. That'd be so good.
A Communist Party book. All right. I got to look for this. I'm looking for it.
Well, they retracted. They issued it, retracted it. How are you going to get your hands on it?
It's out there.
It's a blind date guidebook for Communist Party members.
It's out there.
Or just look for Antifa's dating guide. It's probably the same thing.
Probably pretty close. Yeah, probably pretty close.
Yeah. Boy, listen to this, Jerry. Sounds like what we're saying about TikTok. And then, James is frozen again. Sherry, foreign interference like Americans on TikTok. Exactly. But see, they have a different version of TikTok than we have. Are you home?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No. Hold on. Whoop, you home? Okay.
I'm not worried about TikTok. I know the government. TikTok, but I'm not worried about TikTok.
I heard a door close, and I know my husband left to go to a meeting, and I'm like, oh, you guys may witness a murder live online. But he's back. The meeting's over. It was like that, so he's back.
Our ratings would spike big time if that happened. And this week on Life of Mary Walter died. A gruesome death. Yeah.
Oh. Tina says AI is still not here. Oh, it's here. Our guru, our graphics guru, Evie, sent me a text last week when I was in Florida. And it was something that he generated with AI, a character that he generated with AI. He said it was crazy how he just put in what he was looking for, what he wanted to look at, and it spit it out. It was like it was reading his mind. It was crazy. So AI is here.
Just think, we talked about this in 2014. I remember, because I tell people the story all the time. This is back when Mary and I had a show together on radio, and she was in a different location. So we would use Messenger to talk back and forth when we needed to send comments back and forth. And I would have Messenger open, and then I had, on the breaks, I would be looking at eBay, shopping gear, or whatever. And I remember simply looking at a symbol, and as I'm looking at it, the ad pops up on Facebook if I still want to buy the symbol I'm looking at currently. And I'm like, wow, this is getting really crazy. And that was 2014.
Yep.
I mean, think about how far we've come in 9 years.
I don't know. Is this coming far or is this a huge step in the wrong direction? I think it's a huge step. If Elon Musk, who is way smarter than I am, says we need to tap the brakes here,
Yeah, but
I
he's
think
also
it's,
the one who
I
wants
think
to
he's
put it,
probably right.
but he's the one who wants to put the chip in your brain. He thinks this
Does
company's
he?
going to, yeah, he thinks they're going to patent this chip that's going to basically regulate your brain for you. Like there'll be no more, it'll cure a bunch of problems, like no Alzheimer's, none of these none of like brain lags. It'll be like a thing for your thing to regulate your brain, and it'll just keep it
Well,
sharp
but if it's for medicinal purposes, like Alzheimer's, is it any different than a pacemaker that regulates your heart?
That's why I wonder why everybody's so shocked over it. This is exactly my point all the time. You put pacemakers in your thing to regulate your heart. Nobody's screaming
Right.
like, "What are these machines doing to our bodies? We're going to be bionic people," you know.
Well, yeah, but
It's
again,
rubbish.
if it's something like that, to me, that's a lot different than put something in your brain so that they can, like you could just think about making a purchase and it happens, like that's different.
I'm sure that's on the way.
Maybe I'll be dead
Yeah.
by then, so I'm good.
Right.
I'm good. Sherry says TikTok is terrible. I've seen several of my kids' friends who are absolutely addicted to it and have even hurt themselves trying those stupid TikTok challenges. And can you imagine being a parent and your kid's the one that actually drank the bleach?
Yeah.
And you're like, really? Like, didn't we have this discussion? Like, you're the parent of that kid.
Oh, how do parents control kids anymore? I mean, how do you control a kid with a cell phone? Do you really think every parent goes and locks everything out for their kids to have cell phones?
That's
I'm sure
that's
they
the
don't.
parents' fault. My brother and his wife, my nieces knew that my brother and his wife own the cell phone. They bought it. They're paying for the plan. They own it. And they insisted on having the passwords to everything. And the kids had to turn their cell phones in at night. They were not allowed to take them into their rooms. And they knew that they may just spend the evening scrolling through their kids' phones, through their text messages, through this, through that. And they knew it. And sometimes they did it, sometimes they didn't. But when they went to bed at night, they knew it was a distinct possibility that was going to happen. And if you don't like it, you can feel free to move out of the house. When you're an adult and you move out of the house, you can buy your own cell phone. But right now, you cannot do so. And that was that. And if you start them with it, when they got their cell phones, they knew that was the game.
Right.
And that was it. And if you don't like it, then don't accept the cell phone. Those are your choices.
Really positive, interactive parenting. I just can't imagine that. I'm not going to say the rest of America's parents, but I feel like there's a lot of parents that I see who have kids that are just wandering around aimlessly on cell phones.
Yeah, well, that's the parents' choice.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
That's their choice. Just don't complain about it later.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, they're going to be in 10 years. They're going to be blaming TikTok for their kids, right? Well, TikTok's what ruined my kids. No, maybe you should have kept them off it when their little brains were feeble and not understanding how it worked.
Right. So I was telling everybody that Thursday I will not be here. That's one piece of news that we have. I will not be here Thursday, but you're going to be here. And my IT department is going to be setting everything up from here. And so he's going to play me, but not be on camera so that you can do everything. And then he'll put all the comments up so you don't even have to do that. So you might want to tune in on Thursday because the odds of this going horribly awry are high.
Right.
It could be really funny. Like James texts me, go, I'm running late. Can you start the show? I see that coming. I see that on the horizon.
I took a half day on Thursday. I'm already ahead of you.
Oh,
yeah, I'm already ahead of you.
That. I explained that we're going to have the guest from the Fair Tax Association. This group that's just been driving me crazy on Twitter trying to get on the show. So I have not heard from them, but I'm sure that they're going to say yes, or they'll send somebody. I can't imagine that they won't. So we'll do that. And other news, since this is a life show about life, finally broke down and got an air fryer. Do you have one?
I don't, but my family does.
Okay.
So I've eaten food from an air fryer.
You've made I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said I've eaten food from an air fryer. I've never cooked
eaten food from an air fryer. It's good, right? So Rhoda,
really
my friend Rhoda, I'm almost 92. Every time you talk to her, she goes, well, I'm almost 92. Rhoda, almost 92, I was talking to her, and for months, probably for over a year, she has been bugging, you have to get an air fryer. You have to get, she almost bought me one for Christmas. I'm like, Rhoda, I don't need an air fryer. Where am I going to put it? Where am I going to put it? I got a wok. I got the ice cream maker. I got the Ronco rotisserie. Every gadget that comes along, there's always a new one. The crock pot, the Instapot was really big for a while. Everybody had to have an Instapot, remember? So there's always a gadget. There's always a gadget that you got to have. I can't have any more gadgets. So about a year ago, my husband comes home. He goes, you know what I hear a lot of? I think we need an air fryer. I'm like, no. Where are we going to put it? Don't need another gadget. No to the air fryer. So that's been kind of simmering in the background, the air fryer conversation. And so we were in Florida with our friends, and you saw Anne-Marie did the podcast with me 2 Thursdays ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Thursday. And we did it from there, Lanai. It was very nice. And so she's like a really good Italian cook, like a really, really, really great Italian cook. And she air fry Lauren said, Lauren's here. Hi, Lauren. Air fryers are great. All right, so let me tell you. And Tina says the only thing I want is a Keurig. You don't want a Keurig because all those little cups are in a landfill somewhere. You know, there's a landfill full of those little Keurig cups, and in the ocean and everywhere else. You get a Keurig or a Ninja, where you can make one cup, but it has a reusable filter in it.
Oh,
that's what you get.
I didn't know they had that. That's cool.
Yeah, they do.
I know Ninja, but not Keurig. Cool.
Yeah, they have that has a reusable cup. That's what you put that on your wedding present list. That's what you guys should put on your thing. Sherry, if I could have absolutely nothing on my countertops, I would be happy. I agree about the gadgets. Yeah. Lauren says hi. So, anyway, so we're there, and she's a great Italian chef, and she made chicken wings in the air fryer. They got one because it was on sale at Walmart and down in Florida. It's a Drew Barrymore. It was $40, right?
That's bad.
Okay. And she goes, I just cooked everything for 20 minutes at $400. She goes, you kind of take it out, check it. And it's like, okay. So I watched her do the wings, and she goes, it's so easy. It just blah, 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 blah. And she puts the wings in and fries them. They were great. Then she did salmon one night, and you have to get it with the skin on it, puts the skin side down, puts it in. And it was cooked perfectly, I have to admit. So then my husband starts asking all questions about the air fryer, and I'm like, oh, here comes the air fryer train again. Here we go. So we got a flyer from Boscov's, and they have an air fryer for $39.99, $40. It's made by GoWise. So we looked it up, and then we are doing some research, and the Drew Barrymore one, actually Consumer Reports rates it very well, and the GoWise was right behind it. So I'm like, okay, all right, we'll go to the air fryer. Long story short, they have one for $40, one for $50. The $40 one was it was big. It was, I'm like, why is this thing so, but it was big. So I'm like, no. So then they had one for $50 that was smaller. It wasn't as big. So I'm like, if I'm giving up more counter space, again, I could just line up all my gadgets. I got a toaster oven. I got the Mr. Coffee. I got the Ninja. I got just line it all up. But while we're there, we're looking, and this couple started talking to us. They're like, oh, this one's really good. And now air fryers have it looks like a toaster oven almost. And now they have like a rotisserie. They have a basket in it that you put the fries in, and it like turns it over, or you put vegetables in, right? And it goes, and then they have the shelves. So you could do like 3 racks, because otherwise you have to cook something and then to cook something else. And the first thing has to wait, and you got to keep it warm. It's not practical for making a whole meal. So like my friend made salmon, but then she had to turn the oven on to make sweet potatoes. So why don't you just throw the salmon in the oven then at that point, right? So, but we did a lot. So they said, oh, this is great. And it was only $20 more. And it came with, 3 trays, and it had a baking tray, and it had, all this extra stuff, like eight extra accessories for $20 more. Nice. So we bought it. We get it home. We're unpacking. It's missing a tray. It doesn't have the rod to go through for the skewer. There's no rod to go into the middle of the basket. The cookbook was missing, and the operating manual was gone too. but it had not been unpacked. So I don't know what happened in China at the factory, but somebody's losing, like an arm or something because
Yeah.
somebody's going to the gulag because nothing was there. So we take it back, and you end up getting the $50 one. And we liked the other one though because it had, like, you could pick your protein, like you pick chicken and it automatically is preset. You pick fish, it's automatically preset.
Ooh.
But this one you can't do
Right.
that with. And so people are saying now, if you want to cook a vegetable and a meat, you get the one that has two baskets. Cuisinart has a 2-basket one on either side. So you can cook them at the same time. Because when you try to cook it on the shelves, the stuff at the
Nice.
top cooks, but the further down you get, you're further away from the heating element and it doesn't cook. So like, oh, well, you just
Right.
switch them. So I was watching some videos and people are like, no, the switching thing doesn't work because when you pull it out, all the juice is falling all over. And you try to, take the next
Oh.
shelf up and put it up in the next shelf, and you everything's falling on, all the juice and everything's all over the place. So we decided not to go with that one, and we just got a plain one with the basket, and like, it is what it is. So we made chicken last night, chicken thighs, which Rhoda always tells me are great. Turned out really well. And we made
Nice.
Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts were mush. So do not steam cook your Brussels sprouts first to get them soft. You got to do them raw. I think you have to do them raw to keep them from getting mushy. Like they were too, it was like a bowl of Brussels sprout mush, which it's not appetizing.
I wonder
At
if
all.
my buddy gave me the best recipe for poppers. If you like to make poppers yourself.
Uh-huh.
So what he does is he'll make the poppers ahead of time and freeze
Okay.
them with whatever you want to put inside. Cheese, cream cheese, both, whatever, right?
And the
Take them, you freeze
jalapenos.
them.
Yeah.
And the jalapenos, right? You freeze them. Then you take the frozen poppers and you wrap them in fresh bacon, which is how you get the bacon cooked perfectly without the
Oh
inside
my God.
exploding. Yeah, right? It was
Wow. Well,
life-changing.
I
was
don't,
like,
I
oh,
don't,
this is
I
brilliant.
don't do
And it works.
I don't do jalapenos, so I don't, that's too much for me. I don't do that. So, but
Obviously, non, but I mean, we're gonna make them, some kind of pepper stuff with cheese. Freeze it first, wrap it in fresh bacon, and bake it cook perfectly by the time it unthaws and cooks.
all right. Well, just so you know,
Fresh bacon.
you're breaking up terribly and horribly, and you sound like Charlie Brown's teacher again. Sorry. And you're
Good
frozen
times.
again.
You sound normal, so.
Sorry, it's his connection. Lauren makes coffee on the stove. Jerry, we have a Keurig. We use it every day. It's about our 5th or 6th one. We have never once not ever used a K-cup. We use the reusable filter cups and cheap coffee. No problems, no waste. Exactly. That's the only way I would do a Keurig. And we have a friend who had a Ninja, and something was broken or whatever. And so they told him, we'll just keep the broken one, and then figured out how to fix it. And so he gave us that one, and they sent him another one. And we use that because you could program it for a cup, a mug, a pot, and then you put the X number of scoops in. So you never have to use that. So I'm with you, Jerry. I could never do a Keurig with the cups. So good for you. What size do we get? We got a 7-quart. It's a 7-quart air fryer. 7-quart air fryer, which is great, but there's a lot of space. I guess if you do like a chicken in there, you'd have the space, but otherwise everything just sits low down in the basket and we did get trays with it. I guess we could put stuff on one of the trays and lift it up higher to get closer to the element if we wanted to, but everybody says don't do stuff on like the first layer and the bottom layer or first layer because the stuff on the bottom's just not gonna cook. So we made the Brussels mush first, and then we made the chicken, and the chicken came out like really great, like I said. And okay, so that's that. So I don't know where James is. I was all ready to do our announcement, and he's not here. So annoying. I hope this doesn't happen on Thursday when he's doing the show, because that would not be good if this happens on Thursday, because then there's nobody to do the show. Tifa loves salmon. I'll tell you, the salmon was really good, and she just took it, like I said, she got 4 half-pound fillets put them skin side down, and she just put salt, pepper, and some garlic on them. That was it. When I did the chicken last night, the chicken thighs, I did brush each one with a little bit of oil because we're new. I don't know if we're supposed to do that, but I wanted to stick. We had rub, and it's a garlic brown sugar rub that I put on the chicken. And I will say that the sugar caramelized. I guess the brown sugar in the rub caramelized. And so it almost looked like it was burned, but it was really, really good. So, okay, James, I hope this doesn't happen on Thursday because I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, I have Comcast coming because we had this problem last week too, and I thought it was solved by talking to them, but apparently not. So they're coming out. I might need a new router. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Lemon pepper seasoning. Nope, I don't like pepper. You lose me there. Sorry. Okay. So before we go on to other stuff, we can tell everybody here what we're going to be doing. There are some changes coming to the podcast. Boom. All right. And we're not done with the show yet. So here's what we're going to do. I've been getting so a lot of things have been happening. Newsmax has contacted me again to have different hosts on. They want Carl Higbee on. They want this one. I'm trying to get James Rosen on. So we're getting more guesty type stuff. That's number one. And some of the stuff, I'll have a conversation with James. I'll be like, do we put it on Life with Mary Walter? Do we put it on Mary Walter Radio? Because like Cal Thomas is going to come on, and and he wrote a book about, all of his reporting and kind of like his life type thing, but a lot of it's political. So like, is that a Life with Mary Walter? Is it this? And a lot of people want to come on, but then they want to talk about their book before they talk about other stuff. So I also had a conversation with a dear friend who is super, super, super honest and is very, very, very well known especially in the podcast world, one Mr. Dan Bongino. Yes, I am name dropping. And Dan and I had a very nice conversation yesterday, and he's very sweet, and he's just the nicest guy. He really, truly is down to earth. And he said to me, Mary, look, podcast game's super hard. I'm lucky because I started my podcast 8 years ago when like 4 people had podcasts.
Right.
Now, everybody has a podcast. So we have been I kind of been thinking about this a little bit in my brain, and I have a political event on Thursday. If we didn't do a podcast on Thursday, we get knocked down in the algorithm again especially on Getter and stuff like that if you miss one, which is why I'm doing them from my friends Lanai in Florida. So what we decided to do is Life with Mary Walter and Mary Walter Radio are going to have a baby. And they're going to morph into one podcast. Dan said to me, he goes, look, if you're not going to monetize this unless you have, hundreds of thousands of viewers, which we don't have. You're not going to monetize it. And even if you do, what are you going to get? $1,000 a month? Yeah, it's still $1,000 a month before taxes, split in two, so then you're not walking away with much. So he's like, why are you killing yourself? So I thought that was really good advice. So we're morphing it into one. It's going to be called Mary Walter Radio. We're keeping that name, but we're going to put it in this time slot. It's going to be on Tuesdays at 7:15 p.m. There's too much competition on Thursdays. On Thursdays, a lot of people are starting their weekend. If you're going away for a long weekend, you're not here. If I'm going away, like when I was in North Carolina for the wedding, on Thursday night, I had to do the podcast. So, and James has conflicts on Thursday often. He winds up having to stay at work late. So we're going to do it on Tuesdays. So starting, hold on, give me the date.
May.
Hold on. May. So May 9th. Yeah, the second is next week, May 9th, because EB is going to do, we're going to revamp. We're going to do new graphics, new logo, everything. I just have to figure out colors and what I want to do. So if anybody has any suggestions, feel free. But I need something that stands out. We need a tagline of some sort. I don't know what that will be, but it will still be called Mary Walter Radio. But you know what? Why do I have to split it up? I'm not on radio. I don't have a program director yelling at me like, you do politics. You can't talk about relationships. Or, you can't talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey because, you do a political podcast. Or what do you mean you want to talk about politics? You do, relationships. So it's mine. So we can do whatever we want. So that's what we're going to do.
It's Mary Walter, where we talk about your life with Mary.
There you go. And your life.
That's right.
And
My life too.
James's
Yeah.
life.
That's right.
And James's life. And yay, I got a new air fryer. And how exciting is that? I sent Rhoda. So I have to tell you this. So my dear Rhoda, my almost 92-year-old former neighbor from Washington, D.C., if you don't know who she is, she was my neighbor and she became my bestie and she's hilarious. And she's everything you expect a feisty 92-year-old Jewish grandmother to be, right?
Nice.
So she called me today because she goes, I'm so glad you finally got an air fryer. Because I sent her a picture of what I made. And I was like, because she told me chicken thighs are the best. So we bought chicken thighs. So that's what I did. And I sent her a picture. And so we were talking. And then I'm going to be filling in on Memphis this morning on KWAM. Thursday and Friday, I'll be co-hosting with Todd Starnes. So Todd's calling me. So I said, Rhoda, I got to go take this call. I'll call you back. Finish with Todd was not a long call. I call Rhoda back. She finally, she missed the call. Then she calls me back and she goes, I was in the closet and I was swiping and it wouldn't answer the phone. Sometimes when I swipe, it doesn't answer. So I'm like, okay, Rhoda, well, I was just calling you back. She goes, oh, we've talked enough for today.
That's great.
We've talked enough for today. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll talk to you next week. Click.
You gotta love 92-year-olds. They trim all the fat out, don't they? It's like, I don't need to BS you at all. Let me just tell you, we're done. That's great.
That's why I love her. She's so funny.
Oh, awesome.
We've talked enough for today. Like, what else are you doing?
Right. 92.
Oh my God. She just cracks me up.
Great.
I know. I love her so much. She's amazing. She's so good.
I do love
okay.
Arthur Rhodas now. I know changing topics, but I have that sense now of what you go through. Old people are the greatest to be around for the day. They just are.
Well,
everybody thinks like they complain all the time. I don't know. I laugh with the people I work with all the time.
Right.
All the time. I just have a blast with them.
I think there's a certain personality. I love old people. They just crack me. Again, I'm not living with them, so I think it's a little bit different, Right. Yeah, I'm just cleaning their place. Right. So we were down in Florida with our friends, our neighbors, and her mom came over from Boca because it was her birthday. She's 87. And I love her mom. I think she's hilarious. But I guess when you're with it all the time, it kind of drives you crazy. Like, I know my grandfather, who was my best friend when I was younger, when he was still alive, he was living with us. He used to drive my mother crazy because he would do things like, she would say, she's like, Daddy, I'm going out. Do you need anything? Because he had his own liquor. He had a little bar set up in his room and he would bring a bottle into the kitchen to make a drink, like he had his own stuff. And my mother, like, do you need anything from the liquor store, from the pharmacy? Do you need anything? I'm going out. No, I'm fine. The next day he came in, I witnessed it. He came in with a pill bottle and he goes, I'm out of pills. I need more pills. She's like, I just asked you yesterday. He goes, well, yesterday I still had one left. And I'm roaring, laughing my butt off.
That's awesome.
Because yesterday he didn't need any pills. Today he does.
That's literal for you.
Oh my, and she was ready to kill him. I thought she was going to kill him.
Yeah.
So I get it. But I don't live with Rhoda.
Right.
But, I've stayed over with her in her apartment, and stuff. And she bought me the little night light and, all these things. And she's hilarious. So, but she just cracked me up. We've talked enough for today. Okay. Bye. So funny. So I think you're frozen again. James is frozen again. I don't know where he is. All right. Very quickly, I wanted to go over, you were frozen again there for a second.
Yeah, good times.
This story is so right up your alley. Did you see this thing about the cattle mutilations in Texas? Did you see this?
No.
Okay. In Madison County Sheriff's Office released a statement regarding a series of suspicious cattle deaths in Texas. In each case, the mutilated cattle were found with no signs of struggle. There were no footprints or tire tracks near the bodies of the cattle. According to the sheriff's office, one of the cattle had a straight, clean cut with apparent precision made around the cow's mouth, leaving the meat untouched. The tongue was removed without any blood spillage. Ranchers have reported that no predators or birds scavenged the remains, leaving the carcasses untouched for weeks.
That's
little
the
weird,
most
right?
odd, right? Yeah, that's really odd.
The police revealed that 5 other cattle deaths in the area shared eerie similarities. Each cow was found lying on one side, which would make sense because when a cow goes over, I mean, like, well, I guess sometimes you see them sit in a field, but they were lying down with the exposed side of their face cut along the jawline and the tongue completely removed. No signs of struggle or blood were found near the mutilated animals, and no other creatures scavenged the remains. 2 of the 5 cows also had a circular cut, removing the anus and the external genitalia. These cuts were made with the same precision as those on the jaws of other cattle. The mutilated animals were discovered along a highway spanning 3 counties in Madison, Brazos, and Robertson County. Each belonged to a different herd and a different pasture. Authorities have yet to determine the cause of death for all 6 cattle. Now, they're saying these resemble similar other cases in recent years. In 2019, 5 bulls were found dead in Oregon with tails and tongues and genitalia removed. No tracks or blood near the carcasses. 2021, another 7 cattle were discovered mutilated on an Oregon ranch. The AP reported that in most cases, the dead animal's sex organs, tongue, or eyes are cut away cleanly and there is no blood. Woo!
Even if you think there's no blood, you think they would show some sign that they moved something. Yeah. So they're somehow getting there, knocking them out, removing these items, and disappearing without a trace. That's neat.
Yeah, all I could think of, if it's not aliens, it's like some kind of like weird satanic cult or something. But if that's true, then why are there no footprints unless they like wipe the footprints away when they leave? There's
maybe, but
no
but
blood.
A good tracker
would see,
even a good tracker would see signs that they had, removed their trail, I think. Especially out there, those people know what it hear and know. You're in big open areas. I mean, you're not sneaking in that unless you're, I don't know, a Navy SEAL or something. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting that close to a farmer and his cattle without, animals making noise, something to alert you.
Yeah.
Ron
says aliens. And Lauren says, you need to write the apartment living in DC book. Tales from apartment living. Yeah. So, but what kills me is the lack of blood. Like, what did they spread like a huge tarp under a big cow? Like, that just seems to be a long way to go. And to do like 5 in one night, it's just weird.
Oh, it's weird. Yeah.
And why aren't any animals, predators, like scavengers, touching the bodies?
Right, as if they've tainted the body in some way that the animal knows not to eat it.
Right.
Animals don't pick up on radiation. I mean, they'll be irradiated and eat radiated meat. They learned that from Chernobyl. So, I mean, animals don't generally have that sense unless it's something, I don't know. Kind of like how people think dogs can sense the paranormal, right? I mean, whether you believe it or not, and people certainly believe that. And I've certainly had my own weird experiences with it. Sometimes dogs just have extra senses that you just don't get.
I think cats are also very attuned to that. I notice our cats are like, and we always joke around like, are you chasing angels? And then they go through a period where there's nothing, but cats will not eat anything that's bad for them, which I find interesting. Cats will not eat a poisonous plant. Like, I can have poinsettia in this house. They will not touch it. If I got a dog, he's eating it for breakfast. Yeah,
I had a dog named Bingo that would literally eat anything you put in his mouth. Whether it would kill him or not. He had no sense of that at all. I mean, head of lettuce, didn't matter. The bottom part of something you carved out of an apple, it didn't matter. If it remotely tasted like food to him, down. Yeah. But cats are real smart that way.
Yeah. Cats don't. Like, Oliver's our one cat who, when we first got him, he lived in the animal hospital for 4 months, and he came with like this teepee, and that was his safe place. So when we first got him, when we first fostered him, he came out of his it took him a long time to come out of the crate. And when he came out of the crate, he just went in his little teepee and he just sat all the way in the back. But then, so I would sit in the room with him because we had to keep him separated because he had had surgery. So we had to keep him separated. It was his first time out of the animal hospital in 4 months. And he was 4 months old when they found him hit by a car. So he'd never really been in a house. He was a hoarder. If I sat, I would sit in that room and highlight stories, to go on the air at night when we were doing our show. And I would highlight stories. He would grab my highlighter in his mouth and hobble back and put it inside his hut. He eventually wound up with so much. If we lost anything, glasses, anything, it would be in his little hut, in his little teepee. He would take everything, but he never ate anything. The only thing he eats though are okay things, like he'll steal baby carrots. He loves baby carrots. Like he'll walk around with a baby carrot in his mouth, like that type of stuff. But nothing that he's not supposed to eat.
He's not eating Advil.
Right. I mean, I did find him with with a little crucifix little thing, like this just little one. Oh, it was my rosary. And I caught him and he's chewing on my rosary. I'm like, Oliver, stop chewing on Jesus. Like, because I never thought that sentence would come out of my mouth. I'm like, did I just say that? Yes, I just said, Oliver, please stop chewing on Jesus, because he was eating my rosary. But that was about it. Tina says guinea pigs sense ghosts. Do you have ghosts in your apartment?
No, but that's the pig I think we told you we took to my old work. And we went up to the old TV-40 up there. And that thing, every time we caught something, that thing would go crazy right before it. If my hair started to stand up, he was making noises.
Yeah.
I'll have to get it so we can upload it, the infamous video that showed when we got a little shadow thing that went right across the elevator on us that we didn't see till after. Because I think if we'd saw it there, even I would have ran.
I wasn't there.
No. So this was about 6 months ago. We went up there.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, after a ton of stuff happened, we were looking in a Wawa parking lot through the film footage. And you know where I'm talking. You've been there, though. Like when you came in, there was that little entry area and there was that elevator shaft. Well, we were two floors above that, in front of that elevator shaft in what would have been the old office. There's an outside door with stairwell. There's dark hallways over here. Nowhere you could get past us, and runs right past us is this different colored black shadow than the black shadow that you see from like our thing. It's weird. Yeah. If you take it at face value, you believe us, there's no way we could have done it.
Was that where the offices were like Stuart and everybody sat when I was there?
Those one floor up, set up the exact same way. And abandoned now. So
I was never up there then. I was never up on that top floor then.
Yeah, probably never. That was TV-40 at the time.
Yeah, I was never there.
Yeah.
I was never there.
Yeah, but now it's just an abandoned crazy room.
You know what happened? I hear a lot of stories about ghosts at radio stations and stuff. That's just our version of hell. Like when you die, if you're radio and you die, you have to go back to the most dysfunctional place in your entire life, which is the radio station that you used to work at. And so those are people. That's the ghost of someone who was not a good person.
That actually tracks. That makes a lot of sense. It does.
Laura says coast to coast AM. Yeah, George Norrie. I'll tell you, I met George, very, very nice guy, but he couldn't understand why I was doing a relationship show. What are you doing that for? It's never going to sell. I think he was right. But the first time I did it and the second time I did it, it did sell. It was just the third time that it didn't sell because of, a lot of extenuating circumstances, including a sales staff that didn't know it was on the air. So, there's that. That's why that never worked. But but George Norrie, quite a character. All right.
Yeah.
So Pete, which by the way, I did not get to thank Pete in the beginning of the show. I always thank EB for doing all our graphics. He's amazing. Yep. Zach, our number one fan. Zach is awesome. Zach is EB's son, and he is fantastic and wonderful. My boyfriend. And Pete sends me a ton of stuff. So Pete sent a very interesting topic for the show, and this is right up your alley. And feel free to jump in here, and then we're out. Okay. One artist, if you could pick one artist to perform come to your home and perform, who would it be? And I guess they could be alive or dead. I'm going to go alive or dead. Who would it be? One artist. Who would it be?
Ooh.
Who would you choose and why? So drop your comments and I'll put them up. Drop your comments. Who would it be? One artist comes to your home to perform for you, and I'm going to go dead or alive. Who would it be?
Oh, man, that is tough. Do you have yours?
Yes.
Who's yours? I'll pull mine second. Go ahead.
Oh, mine's Sinatra.
Okay. I buy that. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
Sinatra.
a really good one.
The voice is just amazing. Oh, I love his voice.
Yeah, I really love the Temptations, and I would love that era with oh God, who died? I can't say his name. My favorite frontman too. I'm just exhausted. Can't say his name. Oh God, it's on the tip of my tongue. And he had a brother who had a Motown hit. Oh, somebody out there say the name for me.
Smokey Robinson.
No, he wrote all the songs. He wrote a lot of songs for them though. Oh God, it's killing me. But the classic Temptations lineup. That's what I would have. Yeah. I would
All right,
love
hold on.
to have
I'm
the
gonna look it up for
Temptations.
you right now. Temptations lineup.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. He died of crack cocaine in 80 something.
Otis.
No, that's the bass.
List of Temptations. The Temptations.
Not Eddie Kendricks.
David Ruffin.
David Ruffin's
That hurt,
one of my all-time favorite voice on the planet. That's the one, David Ruffin. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm going.
Kendricks.
I'm going. Let's see. Tina says Neil Peart. I have no idea who that is.
That's the drummer from Rush. That, by the way, would have been my second choice to be Rush with Neil Peart alive.
But
he's dead.
What about Donny Osmond? I felt like he was her all-time favorite.
Funny, she might want to weigh in on this.
Yeah, I thought Donnie was like, at the end of the world for you. What happened, Tina? Bill, Dean Martin. Oh, another great voice. Oh,
yeah,
if I could bring back the whole Rat Pack for a night at my, if I could get the whole Rat Pack here, can you imagine that Dean Martin? Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, you said Frank, but I think you have the right pick. Get the Rat Pack, yeah, as a whole, and like a perform them all just on stage.
Sammy Davis.
Together. Oh, they're so funny together too. Oh, that would be a night.
Sammy Davis Jr. That would be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good
Joey
one.
Bishop,
that's a good one, Bill.
Yeah.
Yep. Lauren points out that you are wearing an Elvis shirt.
Ta-da! It's true. Elvis. I'd love to see 56 to 58 Elvis. That early Elvis. Oh, but DJ Fontana. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that early band too. Oh. That would be great. That's a hard question, right? Because you think one, but I think of all of my favorite artists that have died. I'm like, I mean, that's a lot. I love to get Led Zeppelin back together. You know, you can't got a dead drummer there.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, well, Jimi
Hendrix would be great.
I don't know. I can only take so much of that. Like, I can only take so much Jimi Hendrix. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, if you get Frank Sinatra, man, he could sing forever, right? Like, you could go for hours listening to Frank Sinatra. I can only go so long listening to Jimi Hendrix. Right.
I could go a long time, but I get what you mean. We all have our artists that way. But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, Buddy Holly. I would love to have seen Buddy Holly. I never was even would have had a chance to be in the room. I wasn't even close to born. And he was an amazing performer. Died way too young. It'd be awesome to see Buddy Holly in the Crickets. That would be really cool. Obviously, the Beatles would be great for just staying in the whole world.
The Beatles.
Get a Beatles reunion.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
If you had Harrison back again and Lennon back again, got the four of them. Think of how close. People don't realize how close they were to reuniting when John died. I mean, Paul and John had just really rekindled their friendship in a very real way. I mean, I think we were a year at most from them saying, let's just do it again. Let's just make a tour and have fun. Or make a record, whatever. But
so there's a documentary out that claims that James Hinckley did not. Was it James Hinckley who shot John Lennon?
That sounds right.
Or did James Hinckley shoot Reagan?
Oh, wait.
John Hinckley.
Yeah. And who shot Lennon? It was oh God, it's all over Helter Skelter, and Lennon didn't even write that song.
Mark David Chapman.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that apparently that he did not do it, and there's this whole theory. So I'm trying to get James Rosen on because James Rosen is a huge Beatles fan and knows everything about them. Plus, he has a new book, so we could talk. This is one of the reasons this conversation trying to get him on was like, do I do him on Life with Mary Walter? Do we have him on Mary Walter Radio? Because he's got a political book about Antonin Scalia. And I was like, you know what? One show. So Beatles would be great. Listen to this. Lauren says a group I want is the Bee Gees. I could listen to them for a while too.
Yeah, it'd be a good show.
But if I got to choose between the Bee Gees and Sinatra, I'm going Sinatra.
Yeah.
I just and when it comes to you, when you said Elvis, I was like, whenever somebody talks about Elvis, I'm like, Elvis is great. Are we talking like early Elvis, or are we talking the fat, bloated, drug addicted Elvis?
Right,
Like, which
right.
Elvis are we talking about? Like
Yeah.
BD or AD, before drugs or after drugs? Or which Elvis are we talking about? Because the before Elvis was hot, was talented.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he was on drugs, he still had a great voice. But I
Sure.
can never get that picture out of my head of him in that white jumpsuit
Yeah.
in the 70s with that big white belt.
Gold lame. Oh.
Yeah, and he's got, like, when he pulls his arms, he's got like wings here, like, and he had a cape, and like he's sweating like a pig, and he's like fat, and looks like he's gonna explode. And when he was singing, was that caught in a trap? I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. When he's singing that one, Suspicious Minds. That's a famous video of him singing that on the stage, and I'm like, oh. He looks like John Candy in a desert, right? Like,
yeah,
this is not attractive at all. What the hell happened to you, dude? Oh, it's awful.
I had a guitar player I really respect, an LA studio guy. He was talking about, they asked him like some of his favorite guitar players, and he said Elvis. And the guy was like, and I'm thinking of, guy who's interviewed was like, Elvis. He's like, yeah, because Elvis is the one that taught the world that you only needed 3 people to put a band together. He doesn't get credit for that, but he should. Like, before Elvis, everybody thought you needed all of these other players on stage. And then Elvis proved you just needed a guitar, a bass, and a drummer. He almost invented what they call like the power trio.
Well, Buddy Holly and the Crickets was only 3 guys, right?
4. I think there were 4. Buddy, bass, I think was there another? That's a good question. I'll have to check that. I'll check into that. But I just thought it was astounding that somebody found Elvis to be like a guitar hero, which you don't think of him as. He was never he's not a terrible guitar player, but he was never a great guitar player. But he said to him as a kid, that's where that influence came.
There were 3 of the Crickets: Jerry Allison, Buddy Holly, and Joe Maudlin.
Yeah, no other guitar player, keyboard player. Yeah, and the trio. Yep.
Yeah, but yet Elvis gets the credit. Just saying.
Well, they're around the same time. They're same time, same era. That's the same sort of.
They were. The 2 remaining members were active until 2016.
Wow. Really?
Years active 1957 to 2016.
Wow.
That had to be new members. There had to be. Do you know Waylon Jennings was a member of the Crickets at one point in time?
I did know that because he felt really bad about not being on the plane. Apparently, there's some story about him supposed to be on the plane and on the plane.
No, that was right. It was the Big Bopper, right? It was the Bopper. The music. It's in the music dot. I'm going through American Pie.
La Bamba is
Richie Valens.
Richie Valens. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Waylon Jennings has a story about supposed to be on that plane and not. Which is the only reason I knew that.
Who was supposed to be on Buddy Holly plane? It came right up. Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Holly decided to charter the plane, and there weren't enough seats in the plane. Yep. The Big Bopper, J.P. Richardson, Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and the pilot of a 1947 Beechcraft Bonanza. Waylon Jennings was hired by Holly to play bass for him on the Winter Dance Party Tour. He was 21 at the time. They had all these problems. Holly decided to decided to take the plane instead of taking a bus. So Waylon Jennings was supposed to be on the plane, but the Big Bopper had the flu and asked Jennings if he could have the seat on the plane. And Richie Valens asked the same of guitarist Tommy Allsup. So when Waylon Jennings told Buddy Holly he was going to take the bus, Holly jokingly told him he hoped the bus broke down, to which Jennings replied, "I hope your old plane crashes."
Oh, that's a tough one.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
He was broke, supposedly. The only reason Buddy went on that tour was because he was broke, according to Jennings revealed to Rolling Stone in 1973. He didn't want to go, but he had to make some money. I ain't saying the person's name that was the reason he was broke. Wow. There's a story there.
There is a story there.
Yeah. Let's see. So Ron says, happened to see a YouTube clip of this guy before his show, Liberace, amazing showman. Liberace was an amazing showman.
Absolutely.
He really was.
When
I mean, I don't remember much of him. I just remember like when I was a kid seeing him on stage with a big white piano, he was Elton John before Elton John.
Right. You remember Jim, the singing lifeguard, Jim Crane? Their music store, Pleasantville Music, has a piano that Liberace used in Atlantic City every time he was in Atlantic City. It's got his signature inside. Yeah, so they got it. It's a beautiful Baldwin piano. Oh, that's used, but beautiful Baldwin piano, yeah. And that was his Atlantic City piano.
Dion was supposed to be on the plane. Really? They didn't mention. I have to go back and look at that again. I got to go back and look. Here's a good one. Patsy Cline.
That'd be a good show.
Yeah, Patsy, what a voice. Oof.
Yeah.
Another one. Great voice. And then Lauren just said, yep. Okay. So, wow, that was fun. All right, Pete. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you sending me topics like that one. That was really great. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. And I pulled that one because I knew you would have a great time with that. So Thursday, I will not be here, but James will be here holding down the fort on his own, talking about fair tax or flat tax or whatever the heck kind of tax they want to do. And I will be Thursday and Friday, I will be on KWAM 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern time on their morning show. I will be co-hosting with Todd Starnes. We'll be doing that. So not bad. I don't mind doing a morning show 8 to 10 a.m. Like that's sweet because they're a time zone off from me. So it's 7 to 9 their time, but it's 8 to 10 our time. I'm like, oh, I can do that. That I can do. You know? 6 a.m. no moss. 8.
Yeah, no good.
That I could do. So I'll do that. And then, of course, Monday I will be on the Chris Salcedo show. I will not be on Chris Salcedo's show on Monday. I'm going to have to miss Monday. So I will not be there on Monday. So, and then hopefully Tuesday we will be doing this podcast again. We'll see. See what happens. All right.
Unless Tucker Carlson takes my spot. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Don Lemon. Either one are looking for jobs right now, so.
Can I just say very quickly, did you see the interview that got him kicked off? Did you see that with Vivek Ramaswamy?
Not the whole thing.
So all you had to see was the one interaction they had that went for about 2 minutes, and Poppy Harlow is sitting next to him going,
yeah.
She's like writing. She's looking up. She's not saying a word. Girlfriend's keeping her mouth closed. When he told Vivek Ramaswamy, well, you don't understand because you're not black or whatever race. And he goes, whatever race you are. I was like, oh my God. It was cringeworthy. I was actually like so uncomfortable watching that. I'm like, Don Lemon has lost control totally. He was just debating him. He was just, and Vivek was so good for him. I'll tell you, he was good. He had facts. He never lost his cool. And he was like, no, you're wrong. Or that doesn't change the facts. He was so good. So I just love that Don Lemon was surprised that he lost his job.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you should have lost your job several flubs ago. Like when he said that women women older than 40 are past their prime.
Oh,
like every woman on the planet went, wait, what? What are you talking about? Oh, what a disaster.
Good times.
Well, it makes me feel better about my career path.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No high stakes here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're out of here. James will see you on Thursday. Thank you so much for being with us. And please be kind because the IT department is going to be running the show on Thursday. So he will do his best to get your comments up on the screen. If you're on Getter, your comments probably will not get read. I'm just telling you now. Sorry. That's just, and James, you just have to tell them if they're commenting on Getter, we just can't read your comments because the IT department is not going to be on camera. He has made that a condition of employment. And I will be off drinking with Sebastian Gorka and Gordon Chang, and I forget who else is going to be there. So like
Nice.
one drink. I have to drive. So, all right. Goodbye, my friend. Thank you so much. Have a good week, everybody, and a great weekend. And we'll see you next week. Bye.